Probably the second last video of this weight loss challenge. I made some updates to the chart, but the big news, my weight loss journey is over. I've got my abs here and I've lost a ton of weight. But you can see I was going through a bit of a plateau and then I dropped down to 76.8. So haven't been under 77 in probably 20 odd years. It's been that long. So, and when I looked in the mirror, I felt I was looking skinny. And I said, even the day before, I said, I think I'm going to end my weight loss when I go under 77. And then I did, because then I blew past it and said, well, there you go. So let's go through some of the new things I've added to the dashboard. We have our metabolism. You can see that we're analyzing how fast our metabolism is. And you can see that I was going well, and then I wasn't. I was slowing down. You can see here I don't have the 0.8s or 0.9s that I used to have. 0.5 seems to be the way to go. You can see here though, I started going up again, but still downward trajectory. I had many days to get to those weights. The other thing was, you can see I had diet. I had a strict diet and start nearly to get 76.8. I just blew past it because I had 5 consecutive days of goodness. It finally caught up to my body and said, all right, we're going to drop the weight. The other thing you can see is the other jewel that I think I mentioned in the last video. Majority of my weight was lost through strict dieting. If you take this diet and regular diet together, combine that together, they sort of wash out. These two wash out. Maybe one or 2 kilos lost with those activities, but the strict diet is really what did it. And so what I gain out of that is that if I, in all these days, so let's do the ones where I was eating normal. If I took these days and applied this sort of rate of dieting, I could have been done in half the time. Half the time I would have been done. Rather than going through this for 4 months, it would have taken me 2 months. But that would have been, a lot of this would have gone away. So these bits, these ones, oh my goodness. There's lots of, the trip obviously was a wasted week. The week before the trip was a wasted week. And then here was another wasted week where there's 3 weeks where I could have actually been dieting and made some significant headway. And as I was saying, if I had the strict diet once a week, then I would have dropped those pounds. I was dropping around 1 pound every time I did the strict dieting. So 1 pound a week, basically 20 weeks. I guess that's nearly 6 months. But anyway, if I scale that up to two strict diet days, then that would really throttle it even further. So then let's go through the metabolism a bit more. The other thing I was trying to look at was plateaus, and I actually had a real plateau here. I was dieting really well here and here. This is when I dropped down below 78, and this is when I dropped below 77. You can see I needed a lot of good behaviors because I wasn't, before when I said I was on a plateau, this was the plateau. I was eating normal. I wasn't dieting, but here I was dieting and I still wasn't losing weight. And so what I did is I took the data and sliced it up into the first 45 days, last 45 days in the middle. You can see here at the beginning, my metabolism was between 34.7 and 35.5. At the end, I was 31.5 to 32.5. So that's essentially 2 to 3 ounces less I could eat. So that proves that there is such a thing as a plateau and your rate of weight loss does slow over time as you get closer to your goal. So that's why these strict diet days are so vital to help you succeed. And this is without exercise, mind you. I did have exercise laid in here, but not much. And then again, this is the high level numbers from the diet. You can see Friday was my terrible day. I gained 3.9 kilos or 4 kilos on Friday, but then I'd lose my 4.7 kilos on Tuesday, 3.7 kilos on Monday and Thursday. So basically, if I was going to make a run at my weight loss, it would be between Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday. I was going to do it. There was a Sunday here. That's probably when I was home alone, because I generally don't eat much when I'm alone. But these were my 3 days. And then also, if I added in with friends, see, look at this, 12 days with friends, I gained weight, 34 days without, I was losing weight. So again, I knew friends were an impact, and you know, it goes back to that emotional aspect to weight loss. It's sort of like, by you eating less, the person opposite you feels like they're not doing enough, or if they're feeling not lacking in confidence, then they're not doing enough. It shouldn't be about that. It should be just about what you're doing. But if you aren't eating well, then it reflects poorly on them. It's such a weird thought process. You should be able to do what you want without any worrying about any negative feedback. Then we have the month. Obviously, we can take out January and May, because January was maybe 3 weeks, May was a week, so maybe you could extend that out. And then Friday and February was probably a useless month anyway, because there was a week where we didn't. That was another 3-weeker, because we spent a week at Whistler, and diet was pretty much abandoned then, wasn't it? But then we look here at March and April. So March obviously is the winner. Lost 3.7 kilos in March. April, you can see this sort of indicates that things are slowing down anyway, but March was the winner. Then in terms of strictness, again, that was similar to the other chart, but just presented differently. 9.9 kilos there. And then in terms of other high level numbers, I missed out on breakfast 65 times out of the 119 days. So over half I was missing out on breakfast. I did exercise less than, I'm going to say, 30% of the time. I ate out 48 times. So tried to limit that as much as possible, especially the salt. That was a real killer. And dessert intake really low, 28 times. So maybe a quarter of the time I dessert. And so that's it. That's it. 55 down days out of 119. I had 128 equivalent beers, 129 equivalent beers in the whole 4 months. So I was able to weed it back into my life. Obviously, I must be addicted to it if I need one a day, but it's not terrible. And, you know, having one 16-ounce beer only adds 1 ounce of weight. So, even if we're going down one of the strict days and have a beer, we could actually have a beer there, make ourselves feel full, feel loved, and only gain 1 ounce, which is pretty good. I hope you've enjoyed this series. I'm going to maybe post one more on the maintenance, because you know, you reach your goal, now you don't want to go back up, right? So I want to keep a channel between maybe 77 and 79 kilos, somewhere in there, that 2 kilo range. And so I want to maintain. I don't want to go all the way back up again after I had to have this self-control over 4 months. It would be a waste to just shoot back up again. But that'll be my next video, and that'll be the last of the series.